Have you ever tried to help someone out only to, somehow make things worse? It's one of the most frustrating feelings, right? Well, today, we're digging into the language of empathy, and we're not going to treat it like some vague, fluffy concept. Nope, we're treating it as a practical skill, a tool that can completely transform those difficult conversations, both at work and at home. So let's jump in. So let's start with a really big question. What is the single biggest mistake that almost all of us make when someone comes to us with a problem? It's something so instinctual, so automatic that most of us don't even realize we're doing it. And it's pretty much the main reason conversations blow up instead of getting resolved.
And that instinct? Well, it leads us straight into what I like to call the common communication trap. It's this pattern that feels super helpful on the surface, but it almost always backfires.
Okay, so here's where our good intentions just completely miss the mark. Someone tells us about a problem, and our first instinct is to fix it. We jump in with solutions, we want to be the hero, we want to get it sorted out fast. But the reality of what's happening, that rush to fix, actually makes the other person feel unheard, it invalidates them, and ultimately, it just creates a bigger disconnect between you.
And this is the absolute core of it, and it comes straight from professional de-escalation training. When a person is in an emotional state, they're just not ready for solutions. Their emotional brain is totally in the driver's seat. Before anything else can happen, they need to feel heard and understood. The solution is actually the last thing you should be talking about, not the first.
So if jumping to solutions is the trap, then what's the way out? Well, it's a simple but incredibly powerful shift in your focus. It's all about mastering the power of validation.
This quote from Michael Sorensen just nails it. Think about that for a second. It's a three-step process. Listen, understand, and then validate. But how often do we just listen and then jump straight to offering a fix? We completely skip over the most critical parts, the seeking to understand and the validating. The main tool we're going to use here is something called reflective listening. Now, this isn't just about nodding your head while you wait for your turn to talk. It's an active process. You're actually summarizing or paraphrasing what you've heard and then offering it back to the speaker to make sure you got it right. And this isn't some new agey fad. It's grounded in decades of psychology, coming from Carl Rogers' client-centered therapy. It works.
And here's the really cool part. The science behind why this is so effective. It's not just about being nice. It has a real physiological effect. When you use what's called empathetic paraphrasing, basically just showing you get it, it can actually help regulate the negative emotions in the other person. You are literally helping to calm their brain down just by proving you're actually listening.
Okay, so we get the why. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. We're going to fill up your empathy toolkit with a couple of science-backed techniques you can start using like today.
The first tool is one of the most powerful, and it's got this awesome, catchy name that makes it really easy to remember. Name it to tame it.
Now, the fancy scientific term for this is affect labeling, but it's exactly what it sounds like, the simple act of putting an emotion into words. For example, you might say something like, "Wow, it sounds like you're feeling really frustrated right now." That's it. And the neuroscience behind this is just fascinating. Research shows that when you label an emotion, you actually activate the prefrontal cortex. That's the logical, rational part of your brain. And that, in turn, helps to calm down the amygdala, which is the brain's emotional alarm center. So when you help someone name what they're feeling, you're literally helping their brain shift from a reactive state to a more rational one. How cool is that?
Okay, tool number 2 is all about having the right phrases ready to go. Think of these less as magic words and more as conversation keys. They're powerful structures that signal to the other person, hey, I'm on your team, I'm trying to understand.
Check these out. Phrases like, "it sounds like," or "it seems like," which, by the way, are recommended by negotiation experts like Chris Voss, are just perfect. They offer your understanding without making it an accusation. Others, like, "I can see why you're feeling that way," directly validate their experience, and you don't even have to agree with their conclusion to say it. It's brilliant.
So once you've listened and you've understood and you've validated, what then? This is the crucial next step. This is where we build the bridge from connection to action. This right here, this is the pivot. Using a question like this is what we call signposting. It clearly signals that the conversation is shifting gears. You're not just suddenly jumping to a solution. You're building a bridge from their feelings to a collaborative path forward. You're inviting them to solve the problem with you.
And that is the key distinction. After doing all that hard work to build trust, the absolute last thing you want to do is just impose your own solution on them. The whole goal is to make the other person a partner in finding the answer. This gives them a sense of control and makes them way more likely to actually buy into whatever you decide on.
So let's zoom out for a second. Why are we even talking about this? Why does this all matter so much? Because, this is about way more than just having better one-on-one conversations. This approach creates this massive positive ripple effect, especially in a professional setting.
This is the ultimate payoff. This kind of empathic communication is the bedrock of what's called psychological safety, that feeling that you can speak up without being punished or humiliated. And as research from places like Google shows, this isn't some nice-to-have perk. It has a direct, measurable impact on the bottom line.
I mean, just look at these results. They're staggering. People are less likely to quit their jobs, they actually bring in more revenue, and their teams are rated as twice as effective. These are not soft, fuzzy metrics. These are hard business results that come directly from creating an environment where people feel heard, validated, and safe.
So this brings us to the most important takeaway of all. We have got to reframe how we think about empathy. It isn't a soft skill. It's a powerful communication strategy. It's a tool for de-escalation, it's a catalyst for collaboration, and it is a proven strategic advantage in any environment.
By prioritizing validation before solutions, you don't just solve problems, you build trust, you foster safety, and you create the conditions where people can do their best work. So the only question left is, now that you know empathy is your edge, how are you going to use it?